Which is why they'll attack the policy. Like, so if NASA comes in with new paperwork, she won't be too mad at the person doing it, but she will attack the paperwork. We see this with Peterson. You know, he attacks the system or the school system or Canada, who's wanting to pass these laws.
Right.
That's what we'll fight.
So that's another one. We talked about this a while ago, where like you have Effie, the most like flowery like vibe and, you know, connection, and then you have SI that's like, okay, physical control, order, rules.
Two contradictions.
Yes. And so that would be even more intense for her if she's like, hey, loosen up, keep positive feelings, keep the vibe of the tribe.
But then I will fight you on the paperwork.
Yeah, because then and that ends up fucking with the vibe of the tribe, because now you're so all in of like, don't label me.
Especially if that's where she's pulling her, I'll nuke you. You know, she's like, I'll let everything go. It's a double feminine, cat energy, Effie. She'll let 99% of stuff go. But she's like, I'll have to fight you to the death on the paperwork. Which it makes sense why they bring it up about gender a lot, because like say Michelle, for example.
Yeah, why that one?
Because they're probably seeing in themselves. She's probably like, well, I do have a masculine side to me.
Oh yeah,
What if I want to call myself masculine, and you've defined me as a feminine woman, and what if I don't want to define myself as a feminine woman right now?
I know. Right?
What if I want my masculine side to be seen? You see Peterson doing that with the transgender, with the wordage, which is so funny because Peterson is like the best friends to the LGBT community and equal rights and psychology and everything else. But like he goes apeshit on the idea of any group. So it's not watching him. Like I've really tried to sort this out. Like
what is it that you believe?
It's not the LGBT group that Peterson is freaked out about. It's just that any group wants to go to the government to reinforce language of how you were to label people or whatever. If you're like, you liked Reagan, so you're a Republican, like no, like I would get mad. If you're like, so you're a Republican, I'd be like, no. Like, oh, so you're a Democrat. Like, okay, now I want to fight you. No, I'm not. Just because I'm not a Republican doesn't mean I'm not a Democrat or am a Democrat.
But is the so back to the survival side of this, is the core of this having to do with you're gonna put me in chains? Because we've talked about this before, where it's like decider versus observer at the top.
Right.
Observers fear some kind of I'm now being put in a box.
Label.
I'm
wait.
put in jail.
Yeah, hold on. So you know how like when we're listening to an observer decider story, the crazy deciders are like people, this guy and this person and this person, and the observers
are like afraid of judgment.
They're like this category,
exile.
This category. Yeah. So it's like you're being afraid of kind of almost lost it for a second, like the judgment of an individual, and they're afraid of like a judgment of the category. Same as you, but in a category sense.
Okay. Right.
So your lead TE. What the hell are you afraid of again? So if they're afraid of the category,
judgment. So like deciders, judgment from the tribe.
So you're
like TIs are like afraid that the tribe is going to find out that they're a bad guy.
Oh, okay, so right there it is. I got it back. Like I'm
afraid of.
I've like did double math to try and see.
Oh my god, you keep
weirdos.
asking me questions and then interrupting.
So you're like, don't label my identity. Don't label my identity.
That fucking pisses me off.
And they're saying the same thing. I guess would be they're saying the same thing of don't label my category. Don't label my team. Because I don't give a fuck if you label my identity that much, because I'm a double decider. I can wiggle out of that one. But if you say, because that one triggers me a little bit, if you say I'm a Republican or a Ford guy, I'm like, don't get me in the wrong category.
But why? Is it because that then equals ... you're getting put in jail? Because like I'm trying to figure out the observation of the control chaos of it.
Same as your Shelley identity shit. Like why does it matter?
Well, I know what the decider one is. I'm trying to ask about the observer one. I know that the decider one is ... You're getting exiled from the tribe forever.
That means
what's the observer
when
one?
I go down to Napa, I don't get the 25% discount because I'm not running fucking Ford, and the guy like, don't put me in that category. Don't lock me in.
Yeah. You're getting locked in somehow.
Yeah. Like,
you're getting controlled.
Don't jumble me up with Trump. Like, no, I'm not a Republican.
Okay, that is what I was saying.
Don't label my category in that category.
That is what I'm saying. ... Large NI masculine category of you're ending up in jail, whether it's the jail of Napa or the jail of being a Democrat.
Yeah.
Or whatever. It's like some kind of jail. And that would feel stuck. See, that's where they get scared, is that if they're trying to solve the answers to the universe and they're like, a paperwork, now you're stuck forever. So, that's what it is. It's the foreverness of some random, you got labeled and now you can't.
An introverted demon is going to feel ganged up on and stuck. So if you're an EP, you're labeled categorically, which is a big deal to observers.
Yes.
Or if you're a decider, with DI
misunderstanding my identity. That is the biggest one.
I think R's, meaning the IPs and the IJs, I think it's a very different, because it's like this thing of like labeling and stuff, it's like I will definitely feel annoyed if you like label me or label the wrong category.
Control you. Stuck you.
I got so many other problems during the day. I
got 99 problems and that ain't
and
one.
Labeling ain't one. I'm not gonna come back tomorrow and fight you on that. If you want to call me a Ford driving Republican, I'll be like, I gotta go. You know what I mean?
No.
This is why, I mean, it's funny because I think that, the issue that you started to become really politically prominent on, which is the Bill C-16 in Ontario and
Canada, federal law.
In Canada, the gender issue.
Yeah.
That's the issue where now the question that's constantly being asked, so why do you even care? Why do you even pay attention? And the answer is because...
I was asked that earlier today.
Oh, really? What'd you say?
I'm not letting the cat have my tongue.
Yeah.
It's like it has nothing to do with gender as far as I'm concerned, or that's peripheral in some sense. So the accusation, why do you care? Fair enough. It's like, in some way, people can go to hell in a handbasket if they're inclined to. Now, I would rather have that not happen, but people are, what would you say, doomed to their own autonomy. But I'm not saying words that other people want me to say. And the idea of compelled speech, it's like the bill was this much about gender.
Right.
And it was this much about, right. Oh yeah, the government's going to tell me what to say. Hey, but now they're regulating what therapists can say in therapy sessions.
This is interesting because to me, the problem with a lot of this is less a free speech issue, even though I'm on the same page with you. Mm-hmm. And to me, it really is a fundamental truth issue. Meaning that, yeah, you're trying to force me to say something I don't want to say. Mm-hmm. But to me, the fact that what you're trying to force me to say is so innately opposed to the good is the problem.